Hello and welcome to Tales to Admonish. On this week's episode, we'll be diving into the premiere episodes from Joss Whedon's new project, The Nevers, as well as the new series number 1 on Netflix right now, Jupiter's Legacy. And in smaller news, we'll be speaking a little bit more about the Carnage trailer, some of the recent Golden Globe controversies, and people getting guns pulled on them for trying to buy Pokemon cards. Donald Glover's got some things to say about the industry and then goes on and does Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And He-Man's got some things to say about your childhood. So join us as we explore these topics and more on this week's episode of Tales to Admonish.
Tales to Admonish!
We just keep setting it up that way. I don't know how long we're going to do this, but every single time we just do it that way. It's fun. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man. Excited to talk to my good friend, Thomas Olton.
I know. I've been keeping a hot eye on everything this week because I'm always like, now I'm like taking notes, like, oh, I got to talk about this, I got to talk about that, I got to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean,
like
things are slowly kind of going back to normal, and it feels so nice. And also, it just feels not to be like stressed out all the time, you know, because like, man, we can go to the movie theater again.
I actually have tickets for a baseball game.
Oh my
weekend.
God.
I'm going to go to the Yankee game next weekend, like, because I'm fully vaccinated and so is Rachel and my sister.
Fantastic.
And, we figure there'll never be another chance in my life to go to Yankee Stadium with 9,000 people in the stands. So while it is going to feel weird, I'm looking forward to it.
Good listeners, Rachel is Tom's better half.
Much better half. Much better half.
We eventually got to get her on the show.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get her on one day. I'll just have to like buy a second microphone. I'm still doing this on the super budget. So yeah, we'll get her in for sure because she's always got good stuff to say, and she's very well versed in the whole geekdom by virtue of nothing else, living with me and having to make room for all my damn comic books. So needless to say, she's a saint. I'll tell you who are not saints these days. Apparently, Target is going to stop selling trading cards because people are pulling guns on each other for Pokemon cards.
Yeah, sounds like a Tuesday in America.
I couldn't believe it. They're not going to sell Pokemon cards. They're not going to sell baseball cards, basketball cards, any of that stuff because the sports card speculation market right now is absolutely insane. And so people are getting really active in trying to find the stuff. And that is apparently often turning violent. And so to protect their employees, Pokemon fanboys and baseball card fanatics are not going to be able to find their cards at their store anymore.
I don't know, man. I mean, this stuff is like so normal to me now. It's like, I mean, like whenever it's like Black Friday and like this, like, I mean, South Park made fun of this famously, like so hilariously, like the like what people are, you know, basically manipulated into getting into these like tirades about, you know, like whenever they launch a new console. I mean, this is kind of like retro now. They would fight over the consoles in the parking lot, get stolen, get shot. It's so funny, like the technology and the pandemic kind of curbed that a little bit because, you know, like they use bots to buy up all the consoles. So I guess that helped for a lot of people not to get killed per capita this year for the PlayStation 5
Jesus
release.
Christ.
You know, so it doesn't surprise me at all that people are fighting over trading cards, you know, especially Pokemon cards.
Especially Pokemon cards. Because if you're going to get shot for a trading card, that's the one to get shot for.
Yeah, man.
You know,
super
if you're out
popular,
there getting
right?
shot picking up Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you don't even want your face in the news.
Super popular, right?
Yeah, it's got shot over some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They wasn't even Pokemon cards.
I mean, see, people are serious about these Pokemon, man.
Shit.
Like they've walked off of cliffs playing the game that they loved, you know.
Oh my God, yeah.
walked right into running trains. Like they're so focused on Pokemon, man. Oh, don't mean to laugh, but that's
no,
pretty
I know,
crazy.
I know. Where self-indulgence and toxic fandom meet.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ. So I thought that was at least worth noting. I thought that was pretty funny. You read anything good this week?
About comics or anything?
Anything at all?
Oh, I mean, the only thing I'm reading is the new Runaways series, which I can't wait to actually talk about because Whedon has a very specific. I don't want to bury the lead. I'm not going to talk about it. But anyway, Runaways, like they started a new series in 2017. So that's kind of the only thing I'm reading right now. I did. Scott Pilgrim had its 10-year anniversary, and that's like my that's my favorite film of all time.
I think that's Rachel's favorite movie of all time. If you had to ask me what Rachel's favorite movie ever was, Scott Pilgrim would definitely be in the top 3.
So good. So I got to see that in the theater, and it's interesting. There's a couple of things in there that it hasn't really aged that well. I mean, in this time of being woke and Me Too and all this type of stuff, it really gives you like different lenses on things that came out in the past. So it's like, man, like we used to laugh at that. That's like it's like really crazy to laugh at that now.
I think part of what helps it at least a little bit is that Scott Pilgrim is a jerk. Mm-hmm. So it's like certain things where you might wince a little bit. You should be wincing at Scott Pilgrim. There's a reason that Nega Scott is actually a pretty nice guy.
Nega Scott.
Because Scott Pilgrim is the piece of shit. He's like, oh, wow, actually, he's a really nice guy. You're like, yeah, because you're a dick. He's the opposite of you. That's why he's cool.
Yeah, it's still my favorite film, but it's just interesting seeing it in a theater again. It's just like when it's on a screen that's that large, like, and you're with a crowd of people, it winds up being very exposed in a way. So for sure. that was a really cool experience.
That's awesome. What apparently is not going to be a good film experience for you is we were talking a little bit about our thoughts on Venom and Carnage and that whole Sony project last time. And we actually, funny enough, like the day after we recorded that, the actual trailer for Carnage comes out, and we all got to see, about 3 minutes of what's going on in that film.
What did you think, Tom?
See, we talked about this briefly, and I feel like I'm going to reiterate some of the stuff I said, which is that I have moderate expectations for what this movie is going to be. That said, I think some of the visual effects looked fun. I like to be largely positive about stuff. I don't have high hopes for this movie because we've beaten this horse so hard, is that I don't think much of Woody Harrelson in the role. I think that it's a whole, the dynamic becomes totally weird and off. That said, I think there's a place for comic book movies for not comic book movie fans. And I think this is a comic book movie for people who are not fans of comic book movies, or not fans of comic books at least.
The thing that is a really good thing going for this is that Andy Serkis is directing it.
Probably the best thing going for it.
Did you see his Mowgli movie?
No, I didn't see the Jungle Book by Andy Serkis.
Yeah, you gotta check that out. He made a lot of really cool choices in that movie, so you should check that out. But that's the as a complete non-fan of the first Venom movie, I refuse to see it. I'm so tired of this type of stuff by other studios who don't really they're not making the story out of the love of the character. They're making the movie out of desperation because they have to keep the rights to the character, and that makes it unattainable. It's really, really annoying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. I get that, but I also think part of it is, like I said last time, I think it's the growing up process of making these types of movies. And I agree with you that they don't seem to have any reverence for the source material. The fact that the trailer very clearly says no heroes are coming to save you, and the guy smashes a spider on the screen. I mean, they're telling you very clearly, don't expect Spider-Man. Don't expect him. He's not coming. And so
And that's a good choice. Why?
It's not a good choice. Okay. It's not a good choice for comic book fans. It's a terrible choice for comic book fans because if you're a fan of the source material, what you're really wanting is you're wanting Spider-Man living in that universe. What they're telling you right now is, fuck you. Like, that's why. Well, how come Spider-Man's not going to show up? Because fuck you. That's why. We're making this movie. Venom is our hero / anti-hero because superheroes that kill is apparently all the rage right now. And so what we're going to do is we got a superhero that kills and he's going to go up against an even crazier killer. And also, might I add, the trailer gives us our first look at Shriek, which was introduced back in 1993. And she's a mutant in the comics. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that aspect of it. So again, we're going to see a massive deviation from the source material. But to your point, and certainly in your opinion, not to their credit, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my other problem is it's not like Woody Harrelson is a bad actor at all. He's not a bad actor at all. It's just he's definitely oversaturated, and it's like the parts that he plays now is just he just plays Woody Harrelson, like that's what he does. Critique.
Yeah,
like that's just what he does, and so to then have him, and this is the thing that really drove me up a wall because I saw the end cut scene for Venom, where they show this kind of crazed, like the most generic, most, crappy version of an insane person. Woody Harrelson with this really bad wig and a straight jacket. And it's just like, you guys didn't put any thought into this. So then on the trailer, they try to change it up and have him do another basic ass serial killer delivery. But he just looks more like Woody Harrelson now,
But the wig is better. The wig is better. They took the note. You have to give them credit on that. They at least took the goddamn note.
Nope.
Right. Well, if nothing else, can we agree that we're excited that my Spider-Man Unlimited #1 is now worth $40?
Oh yeah.
We talk about the card speculating market, man. On the comic speculating market, I love that shit. When they announced Deadpool 2, and I was like, oh, do I have Domino's first issue? I do have Domino's first issue.
Oh, man, I love Domino.
Oh, man. Or Spider-Man, when I saw Shriek in the trailer, I was like, got my comic app out, and I was like, Shriek's first appearance, Spider-Man Unlimited #1. Did I buy that when I was 14? Well, fuck me. I bought that when I was 14. Heck yeah. Good job, past me.
Oh, that's great. Good job, past Tommy.
That's right.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah. See, we told Mom they're not worthless. No, my mom was the best. She bought me so many damn comic books. She loved that shit.
Oh, man. Give it up for Miss Olton.
That's right. Giving it up. But when we're talking about the cast maybe not being so great for the Carnage trailer, I'll tell you one thing where the cast is 100% beyond reproach. Have you seen who they got lined up for the new He-Man show? Sorry, Masters of the Universe Revelations.
No, I know that Mark Bernardin and Kevin are working on that show. Kevin Smith is working on that show. Like, who's the cast that they got?
Oh, son, for an old He-Man head like me, I had all the action figures as a kid, but I'm going to do the quick like a bunny rundown. #1, they got the same production company that made the Castlevania cartoons, which are incredibly popular and look fantastic. So that's who's making the thing.
Oh,
so we got
God.
Chris Wood from Supergirl is He-Man. We got Mark Hamill as Skeletor.
That's fantastic.
We've got Lena Headey from Game of Thrones as his sidekick, Evil Lynn. You got Sarah Michelle Gellar doing Tila. Alicia Silverstone is playing the Queen, Marlena. Kevin Conroy, Batman himself, as Merman.
Holy cow.
And then they went back and got the OG Skeletor from the 1985 cartoon, Alan Oppenheimer. Got him out of retirement, and now he's Moss Man. You got Susan Eisenberg, who's basically Wonder Woman in every DC everything as a sorceress. And just backing up that cast, we got Henry Rollins, Tony Todd, Dietrich Bader, and Justin Long. Was I ever going to say those 4 names in a row ever? And to boot, the last one I'll give you is that Stephen Root plays Cringer the cat. Get the fuck out of here. Like every single one of
Man.
those motherfuckers is completely beyond reproach.
Oh my God, I need to listen to some recent Fat Man Batmans. Like, I mean, this is insane, this cast. Like, I know they had to spend at least 6 hours talking about this, like on their usually long podcast.
Oh shit, and how did I miss out? Kevin Michael Richardson, the classic, Dr.
Yeah.
Hibbert himself, is also on it as well. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
fuck, man. And when I was a kid, that was my era, like the 1984, 1985. I'd be about 5 years old, 6 years old, and He-Man action figures for days. I had a He-Man birthday party when I was 7. I wasn't excited for it, and then I saw a little blurb with the new stills that look fantastic, and then I was like, let me see who's on this. And every name, one after the other, is an all-star. There is literally no weak link in this chain. It looks great.
Does Kevin Michael Richardson do Hibbert now?
Well, he was Dr. Hibbert forever. I'm not sure if he's still on the show. I believe so. Most recently, we'd know him as the voice of Goro from Mortal Kombat. And also,
he usually plays those type of characters.
Yeah, he's the Mauler twins on Invincible.
Harry Shearer was Dr. Hibbert. I remember they were trying to replace the character. I actually auditioned for Hibbert and Lou and Carl. The new guy the new guy that they have doing Carl is pretty good, but I didn't think they replaced Hibbert yet. So because I know Harry Shearer did Hibbert.
I will defer to you on that one.
Oh, okay.
I could have sworn he was Dr. Hibbert, or he might be the new Dr. Hibbert, but I stand that I could be wrong. I won't put a bet on this one because I'm not super confident. But in any event, how did I miss out on him? He's also on the damn show, which is amazing. So this shit looks good.
That's crazy, man. Who is actually playing He-Man? Is it Diedrich? Is Diedrich?
He-Man is going to be Chris Wood.
Chris Wood, okay.
Yep, Chris Wood is playing He-Man. Let's see. Dietrich Bader.
Diedrich's voice is always so funny.
He is Trapjaw, which is going to be fucking great.
Oh my God. So I didn't know what tone that they were having for this. I didn't know if it was going to be like more of a comedy, but like they're going serious like anime.
Yeah, they really, really are. They said it's going to be serious. They want the cartoon to have real stakes, and they have said that they are not afraid to kill characters. That was formerly verboten in the He-Man universe, but that's a tool that they are putting in the toolbox. They refuse to say if they will or won't, but they're saying they reserve the right.
Yeah, they might as well. It's not like they're going to run for like 4 seasons or something.
Who knows? Who knows what it'll have? But I mean, well, look, She-Ra Princess of Power did 5 seasons, so why couldn't this run for more than 4?
Well, She-Ra's not like the same amount of quality that they're probably going for this. You know,
that's a fair point.
Like
this does look a hell of a lot more expensive.
This seems like something that could be done in like 2-3 seasons. Now, but I mean, like you said, who knows? That's awesome, man. Man, I'm so happy for Mark and Kevin. Lord, this is so dope.
It looks good. It really does look good. I mean, I'm a Kevin Smith fan. I like Mark Bernardin, so I might be a little bit biased. But as a He-Man fan, from like, there's a little piece of like 6-year-old me that is like, yes, this looks good.
Yeah, I'm not biased. Like I'll always call out Kevin's stuff when it's not that great.
You know why I think he's perfect for this project is that Kevin Smith is like Dr. Fan Service. His movies exist purely to service people who love Kevin Smith movies. If you don't like Kevin Smith movies, do not watch Kevin Smith movies because you will not like them. You know, but in He-Man, fuck yeah, I want fan service. When I see that you got the original guy, the original Skeletor on the project, like that just like makes me even want it even more. You're like, ooh, you went and found this little piece of my fucking childhood that was retired and you stuck it back on the screen. I'm gonna watch that.
I thought you said Mark Hamill's doing Skeletor. Who's
no.
Skeletor?
No, Mark Hamill's doing Skeletor, but they got the OG Skeletor to be Moss Man.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay.
So in the cartoon, Skeletor has his 3 main henchmen, which would be Evil Lyn, like his second in command. And then you got Trapjaw and Moss Man are like the next 2 big ones. So Oppenheimer will be factoring into the episodes, I'm sure. I just mean they got OG Skeletor to come back and be on the project.
That's dope.
Fucking A, that's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see what else is going on. Exciting stuff that's coming out.
You said fucking A, so we could just say fucking Atlanta.
Oh, that's true. Donald Glover. Saw that you'd posted on your social media the Donald Glover quote that he put out. You want to give me some context on that?
Yes, he basically said that cancel culture is making everything boring, and I mean there's definitely some merit to that. I'm on both sides of it. It's just like let's work to be more inclusive and be more creative, but on the other side of that is just like people too afraid to. People too afraid to like take chances and stuff because they're in fear that they're going to get canceled and stuff.
See, it's funny. I read that a little bit differently. When I first read that through, I thought he was saying basically that people were afraid to do like inventive programming because that programming subsequently gets canceled. I think it could be read both ways. I don't know if he's clarified on that a little bit because, he works in the world of television. So being canceled, yes, we are in the process of canceling shitty people right now, who are really canceling themselves. But also a lot of times some of the most inventive shows get canceled.
I don't know. There really are two sides to it because you have people that cancel themselves. And then you have some voracious hordes who are looking for anything they can to cancel somebody.
True.
True. Like going back to like, we saw this post that you put 11 years ago. It's like Jesus Christ. Like
what they did to James
Can't you look at everything
Gunn.
that he's done recently? People change and grow, and I don't know. It's like it's pretty crazy. So I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm on kind of both sides of it because like there's definitely a lot of merit to what Donald is saying, but at the same time it's just like it's the us being socially aware and conscious of these things. We need to learn how to move in this new era and still keep our creativity intact without like harming people.
Yeah.
Especially people that have been like down on the ground with people's like, foot pressed firmly across their face, like for years and years and years,
Well, I think if anybody's got the credibility to make that kind of statement, it's clearly Donald Glover. Now, I know I took a cheap stab at him because one of his upcoming projects is that he's
I heard that in the beginning. I was like,
it was
ooh,
a little
Tom.
cheap. It was a little cheap.
That's
Look.
That's nasty,
I know. Don't
Tom.
come for the king because Donald Glover is amazing. But I had to take a little jab because when you have in the same article the quote about people not taking chances, and you're like, "We're doing Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the TV show." Like, I can't. I had to take a little poke. Now, if anybody can get away with that shit, Donald Glover can get away with it. Like Childish Gambino himself, and with the quality of the programming that he is putting out with Atlanta, like nobody is going to come at him for not taking chances. Teddy Perkins was the hugest fucking chance, and goddamn did it pay off in such a big way. So my man lives in that ballpark. So if he wants to go in and call it out.
Yeah, that dude's a genius. That dude's a straight up genius.
Yeah, for anyone listening, if you aren't watching Atlanta, they're working on seasons 3 and 4 right now. Seasons 1 and 2 are available on Hulu, and you should watch them immediately.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about Atlanta is that he had the Trojan horse that in. Because it's so funny the way Donald was treated before, like people realized like how great he was. Because he was of the head writer of the Deadpool animated series.
Yeah, that's right. He was.
Yeah, they let him go because it was basically too black. Like he had scenes where Jay-Z was talking about, not Jay-Z. He had scenes where Deadpool was talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z, and that made people uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so, so even with Atlanta. Like he wasn't able to make Atlanta the way like Atlanta was like eventually going to be. Like he had the Trojan horse Atlanta in.
Yeah, he said he lied about the pitch when he originally made it.
Yeah, they had they wanted a basic ass rags to riches story, and insider industry stuff of a rapper coming into prominence, And,
I love the voice you chose to give that in. Ooh,
yeah, because they always chain us, man. They chain us to kind of retrofit us into this like little cubicle and then like kind of like squirt us out the way they want us to be squirted out, like with our stories and stuff. And yeah, like I mean that's just how it's been for years and years and years. Like now that there's a lot of more Black power that are controlling their productions and their scripts and their stories, it's no wonder we're seeing so much amazing Black content now.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Before you'd have studios and people's like, oh, well, like, China won't like this. I mean, we can't sell Denzel Washington to China. Like all this type of like really just like closed-minded thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. So yeah, I always give it up to Donald, man. Like he's fantastic. I mean, This Is America music video.
Oh my God,
it's like best video of the decade.
Yeah, it's hard to just sit down and just watch it. It's without, considering it. There's nothing passive about viewing that video at all. You just cannot that will never be background anywhere. That's pretty awesome. But, and to Donald's point, we're seeing a lot of that thinking fall out with things like the Golden Globes. I mean, NBC recently announced that they have canceled the 2022 Golden Globes. Now, I don't know if that cancels the ceremony entirely, but it means that they aren't going to show it. And they have been on record as saying they can do whatever they want to rectify their problems, but we don't believe there's enough time between now and 2022 for them to make any meaningful progress. So we're going to give them till 2023 because they need to take all of that time and fix their representation problem.
I mean, this is the most grandiose form of virtue signaling.
You think so?
Everyone and their mama know about the Golden Globes. Like how un-Black the Golden Globes have been for years and years and years. Like, and to take this stance as if, oh my gosh, look how un-Black they are. Like you guys were fine with this a couple of years ago,
See, it's funny. It might just be like, I'm not like, fuck the Golden Globes because they don't have Black people. I'm like, fuck the Golden Globes because who gives a shit about stupid award ceremonies? So like for me, I was like, oh shit, this was some big secret that got found out. And now you're telling me, no, we always knew. It just hit the news now. So for people like me who don't even pay attention to this shit, this was news. But you're saying, fuck, this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time. It was the same thing with the Oscars.
Well, yeah, Oscars so white and all that.
Yeah, it was the same thing with the Oscars. And and they telegraph the stuff that they do. It's so disgusting. I haven't watched the Oscars in so long because it's just annoying. It's the same thing with the Grammys.
Yeah.
It's like they do everything they can to make new categories so these talented Black artists can't get Best Album of the Year. No, you could get Neo-Contemporary Around the Street Corner of 11th and 3rd Award.
Oh, man, I always dreamed of winning my Neo-Contemporary 11th Avenue Around the Street Award. Ever since I was 5 years old, that was the one, man. That was the one. I used to write that shit on my baseball trophies. I mean, I had to get 2 markers, but it was worth it. You're so right. But can we agree the Tonys still cool? The Tonys are all right. The
Tonys are the best. The Tonys are the best. The best award shows are the Tonys and the BET Awards.
All right, I don't often watch the BET Awards. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm sorry,
dude. It's just that's fine, but it's just like the BET Awards. The BET Awards are always entertaining. Like, because they have all the most talented people there singing, performing, and then they do dedications. I'm getting tingles right now thinking about all the best episodes of the BET Awards. Like, people sleep on BET Awards because that's for Black people.
Well, amen. Then I'll be sure to catch the BET Awards this year. If I haven't
of course,
missed them already.
Of course, it goes without saying the Tonys. Like all the talent in the room Yeah, the Tonys are fantastic, man.
All right, cool.
There's
But
just
like,
so
fuck the
many
Oscars
like,
and the Golden Globes and the Emmys and all.
oh
that
hell
shit.
yeah, fuck them.
I never really paid any attention to any of that stuff.
Yeah, I just hate performative stuff. Like you guys are just on a bandwagon now, and you're trying to act like you're superior to other people when you are guilty of the same stuff. You know, like shut up. You know,
you're so right.
I never forget when Denzel got the Oscar for, it wasn't Hurricane, it was for Training Day, but they gave an Oscar to him. They gave an Oscar to Halle Berry for basically being Billy Bob Thornton's whore, and then they also gave an Oscar to, I believe, Sidney Poitier.
For the Manchurian Candidate, yeah.
No. No.
No. All right, all joking aside, it wasn't for the Manchurian Candidate, though?
Shut up. It was a Lifetime Achievement Award. No, but Denzel, I mean, who's not freaking dumb at all, he made this comment. Oh, you guys killed 3 birds with 1 stone, didn't you?
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. It's like to the Oscars, they they feel like they're letting this prestigious thing, like, oh, we're giving this gift upon you. We are validating you. And like as if like there's some gods or something.
We like you. We really, really like you.
Yeah, man. And it's just like, like what they gave what they gave Halle Berry an Oscar for was insane. That they didn't give that Oscar to Angela Bassett for What's Love Got to Do with It, or they didn't give Denzel the Oscar for Malcolm X or The Hurricane. Like they wanted to give us Oscars for these kind of deplorable characters, you know, and then wanted to make a show of it. So
what do you think? Maybe like Training Day was like a makeup Oscar, like, sorry, we fucked up Malcolm X. Here you go.
Yeah, they give a lot of those out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know? And yeah, he shouldn't have gotten an Oscar for Training Day. It's like, cause like, what are they saying? Look, he's acting really niggerish. He's really good. We're used to seeing him play boring, respectful roles. But look, he's acting really black. Let's give him an Oscar.
Jesus.
And then Halle Berry. Oh man, she fucks good on screen. Let's give her an Oscar.
Damn, we're gonna have to put a mature content warning on this bitch. To all my white friends listening to this at a gas station with your windows down, like, sorry.
Tom, you were just cursing a couple of minutes ago.
No, I was just saying N-bomb warnings, Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Please, careful with my white sensibilities, Arthur, please. Clutching my pearls over here. Getting the vapors and all that other shit from the 1900s. Or am I going to a full Victorian fit? Well, shit, talk about inappropriate posturing in the Victorian era. I mean, could there be a better segue to the Nevers?
Tell me about it, bro.
All right, so right off the bat, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched HBO's new series, The Nevers, please go and do so. You can pause. We're going to do a little bit of a spoiler-free discussion, but we reserve the right, nay, the privilege, to spoil the shit out of this thing. So please, later on, we'll do a little spoilery, but right now we're just going to kick the tires on it a little bit. And of course, can't talk about The Nevers without talking about the man who created it, wrote it, produced it, and directed the first few episodes, Joss Whedon, who is now, as I understand it, officially fucking canceled.
Cancel him. Cancel him now. Cancel.
He is 100% canceled, but Joss Whedon is that rare breed of person who is not canceled purely for sexual indiscretions, of which there are no concrete examples, but a hell of a lot of innuendo, but specifically for just being a dick.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how big of a dick you got to be in Hollywood to be canceled for being a dick without some concrete sexual allegations? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and let's preface this by saying that there are a lot of people who have gone on the record about creepy behavior, but there have been no specific instances of sexual assault or abuse that have ever been levied against the man with any substantial backing up or credibility, or even anyone vocalizing that in a distinct manner. What they say typically about him is that he's concerning in his behavior, and that more than that, he is absolutely unequivocally the worst kind of Hollywood, asshole. That he believes his own hype, that he is drinking his own Kool-Aid, and much like the people of Jonestown, he will die for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that leaves us with an interesting place when talking about his art.
I mean, look at the time that we're in, right? It's just like, everybody basically lives in the gray area, like everyone commits crimes, whether they're small, petty, or huge, but then the people that are basically in the limelight, like they're there for everybody's persecution, and it's really disgusting hearing about the stuff that he's done that basically is the normal behavior for Hollywood for decades, but now when somebody has a spotlight on them, everyone can like kind of pile drive on top of that person. It's like it was a trip when they were going on Harvey Weinstein, because it's just like, okay, well, are you going to get on every Hollywood producer? We won't have a Hollywood.
True, but then maybe we shouldn't. If that's
that's what I'm saying though. But my thing is, like, why are you guys just focusing on this one person? So like, I feel like that's another thing that's happening here with Joss. It's like you guys are focused on this one person when y'all know all the different people that are associated with this type of stuff.
Well, No, and I agree with you on that, but I'm going to, again, and as I often do frequently in my life, quote my favorite taco commercial when I say, que no las dos. Like, let's do both. let's go after, if the shit that is being said, and I can do the full rundown on the Joss Whedon bullshit. If even half of it has an ounce of credibility, this guy has got a stay in director jail waiting for him, and he deserves it. And he fucking deserves it. And part of, I think, what makes it so offensive is that his art has meant so much to women specifically, and because he has held himself up as a feminist.
I mean, it's the same thing with Bill Cosby.
Oh God, don't say that name.
I'm just saying. I was like to say it's the same thing. Like the dude that meant so much to Black culture and what it was to be a man and a father and a dad, and then for like all that stuff to come out.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So that's exactly the same point. You're exactly right, which is that here was a champion, and to see your heroes fall so far and to not be anything that they, that they portray in their work, exactly the same thing. Cosby used to get on Eddie Murphy all the time. Like, you shouldn't curse so much in your act because families are listening. That's not very family friendly. When you find out that, like, when he wasn't on stage for an hour, he was about the least family friendly motherfucker you could ever find.
Oh yeah.
But that's where Joss Whedon is now, where he stood himself up as a champion for women's rights, and then basically turned into Kevin Spacey's character from Swimming with Sharks. If you haven't seen that movie, it's funny. Kevin Spacey turned into Kevin Spacey's character from Swimming with Sharks.
Oh man, can we talk a little bit about that video he made when he was trying to play? He was like trying to play Frank, but he was shooting it at home, and like that's really psycho video he made.
God,
Shit.
Oh my god! So all of these assholes. But what this comes from is much the same way as Kevin Spacey's. Is that this behavior stems from what become inscrutable seats of power. That when you have several $1 billion worth of box office success under your belt, when you are legit one of the best writers in Hollywood, and that's part of what makes this so painful, is that Joss Whedon
Toy
is
Story,
an
bro.
amazing writer, and he creates amazing, memorable, lovable
Agents of
characters.
S.H.I.E.L.D., bro.
But then you have this whole other bunch of shit that you have to deal with, and I think part of that has affected. For example, this most recent project, The Nevers. So what I think is interesting to mention about this before we even get into it too much is that you have the on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics score is 48% and the audience score is 83%. And I'm willing to bet a portion of that split just comes from, well, like what I just did about Bill Cosby, which is like the fear of saying anything nice about a monster. And so you can't separate the art from the artist. And so what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and realize that there are literal thousands of other people that worked on this project who are not named Joss Whedon, and they deserve to have their work seen and celebrated if the quality of it is good. And while we have to acknowledge before you begin speaking about a problematic piece of art, some of the problems associated with it. I think that once you make that acknowledgement, just judge it on its own merits and don't slam it because you don't necessarily like where it came from. I mean, Henry Ford was a Nazi sympathizer, and that doesn't mean that every single person who drives a Ford out there should get a talking to when they stop at the gas station. So we got to separate the history from these things.
I mean, like literally, children slaves make our phones.
Yeah, we're all complicit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're all complicit. Like that's why I wish there was a little bit more. What's missing in this era is like forgiveness and sympathy.
I agree, but I think you have to ask for it.
Yeah.
I think that should be a prerequisite for forgiveness, is that you should have to ask for it. Like I said, Joss Whedon ain't done. Look, if Mel Gibson can come back, if Mel Gibson can come back out of director jail, everybody can come back out of director jail. I don't think Chris D'Elia is getting out of director or actor jail anytime soon, because there are some crimes that are just too heinous. But I think that if the allegations are just that you are shitty, you can do an apology tour. And I hope it's more than an apology tour. I hope he takes a moment and really reflects on his behavior. But I think the big downfall for him was coming for Gal Gadot. When you tell somebody who is literally Wonder Woman, who has $1 billion at the box office, just like you, I will ruin you, I will end your career. Get the fuck out of here. Are you insane? I don't care who you are. You don't have that power.
Like I said, that's a regular day in Hollywood.
Right. So let's call it all out. And I think you're right. Let's everybody go get them all.
I've heard stories with Jamie Foxx, like already being in his prime, having Oscars, and like the way some of these heads of studios talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like the way Terry Crews was treated.
Oh, yeah. Terry Crews is incredibly brave for really being very open about that time in his career.
Oh, yeah, man.
Can I just say I love Terry Crews?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say it. Let's all just say it. We love Terry Crews. Terry Crews is a beautiful man. And he's also my dream casting for The Thing.
That'd be bad.
I think if I wanted somebody to play The Thing, I would love Terry Crews as the motherfucking Thing, because I think that he is a person who does comedy and emotional gravitas with like equal skill, and he's got the physical build to carry the character. I think he's 100% would be the whole package for The Thing.
I probably like to see him as Blue Marvel.
I'm not familiar with Blue Marvel.
Blue Marvel, he's a Marvel superhero, like genius, like Superman. He's like so powerful.
So that's why I like you, because you know a lot more like more modernistic comics, and I'm way more old school. I'm gonna look into the Blue.
He's an older character.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit. Then I got no excuses.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, Blue Marvel.
But yeah, superheroes though. So the Nevers. Now you've seen one episode, right?
Yeah, I saw the pilot.
The pilot.
I'm so glad I watched it because I was a huge there's a lot of stuff that I love that Whedon did. I basically missed Buffy, but I watched Angel, and I remember I totally flipped when I realized he basically helped put Toy Story together.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, then his work on the Avengers, especially the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he put together Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was one of my favorite TV series ever. So, then Firefly.
Not even to mention Firefly.
What's so funny about this show is I'm not used to him doing TV mature. So it was a little jarring seeing his kind of plucky sort of a tone, and then R-rated stuff would show up. What?
See, if I'm gonna have
did you feel that?
Yeah, well, I feel like there's a lot of shifting of tone, and if I'm gonna have a criticism for this, I think it almost tries to get too much done. I feel like the story is a little overburdened by villains. I think we got too many villains, but I also think that it's supposed to be a bit of a mystery as to whose side everybody is necessarily aligned with. But I do feel like some of the transitions are a little bit clunky.
Yeah. I was like, what? Titties?
Yeah, they went full Game of Thrones. Yo, warning and spoilers or, anticipation. This show's going to drop some dong on you. I don't know exactly when it does it, but this show is going to go full Game of Thrones and drop some frontal male nudity on you.
There definitely was frames that were very reminiscent of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're gonna drop it on you.
Oh, so now that we're actually on the Nevers now, I kind of brought it up earlier because I brought about the Runaways comic. Joss Whedon specifically wrote a Runaways arc that had the gang going back to Victorian England.
Farming old material.
Yes, and he made a character that had powers of sprouting plants. And I really feel like he put that character right in the beginning where they go to the orphanage.
Yeah, as an Easter egg.
You see a little girl sprouting plants. I really feel like that was an Easter egg for his character in Runaways.
That's fair. I mean, this show trades on a lot of tropes. All right. I mean, a lot of tropes. So, you've got the James Bond trope of the plucky sidekick who makes all your gadgets.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty classic,
Yeah,
there's
you see all of the kind of the Whedon stacks of characters. What was her name? That the girl from the Terminator series, Summer Glau. Oh, from Firefly.
I can't place it.
Well, so typically, Whedon has his types of characters that show up in his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, there's usually some girl who has a ailment, but there's something special about her. They usually have some sort of a language issue.
Well, and a lot of people have said online that the villain Malady is like a revamp of a Buffy villain.
Okay.
That basically, note for note, it's the same character.
See, that's what I'm saying though. He has these stock characters that kind of show up again. But that actress
goes to the cabinet, pulls them out.
That actress was fantastic, man.
Amy Manson is Malady.
Yes. When she was on stage, that monologue, oh my God. Well, when can we talk spoilers? I've been holding back for so long.
Well, all right. So we'll talk a little spoilers in a moment. But for anybody who just wants a little bit of understanding about the show follows main characters, Mrs. Amalia True and Miss Penance Adair, as they run an orphanage for special youngsters. Predominantly, the show revolves around these women, and mostly women, but not exclusively, who have been, quote, touched during an event that happens 3 years prior to the time that we are actually engaged in the episode. These women then develop special powers, some men as well, but the show makes special effort to show that it is largely marginalized citizens who have received these powers, and then goes on to explore the ways that regular people with superpowers might turn the social apple cart, so to speak. So we followed these two main characters as they go on an sort of, Professor X / Magneto style mission to collect up these special individuals and bring them back to a school where they can teach them to use their powers. But for what reason, we don't really know just yet. And so there are a number of other people living in the same world. Oh, this takes place in London in 1899. And there are a number of other entities who would, of course, like to acquire these superpowered individuals for their own more nefarious ends. And it is Amalia True and Penance Adair's job to keep these people out of their clutches and also discover the reasons for their machinations. Would you say that's a pretty good summary?
Yes.
Wait, would you enthusiastically say it, please?
Yes.
Oh, and also Nick Frost is in the show.
Oh, so, yeah, King of Beggars.
The Beggar King Nick Frost, who is legit frightening.
Man,
who is
he's
legit
dope.
Scary in this show.
He's been dope for years. So versatile for years and years and years.
So fucking versatile.
Hell yeah, man. I love when he was a dwarf. I love when he was a dwarf in Snow White and the warrior.
Huntsman.
What was it? Yeah, the huntsman.
Yep.
Oh wait, was it that one? Because there was two Snow White movies that were out at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it was that one, right?
Where the Twilight, Kristen Stewart played Snow White. Is that the one?
There was two of them. One,
I don't know.
I think that was the one where they had like real looking dwarves, and like Nick Frost was one of them.
I'll be honest, I don't remember it. But yeah, so from this point forward, now that you understand a bit about the show, if you'd like to stop the podcast now and then go watch it, please go do that, because spoilers ahead.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Arthur, spoil the shit out of it.
Spoilers. Yeah, man, titties.
So many.
It really felt a lot like Game of Thrones in that way. I mean, it's HBO. HBO love their titties, man. Like they find a way to put titties in everything. I think they had titties in Babar at one time.
Jesus Christ.
I just kidding.
Well, it makes sense because there was very little overall privacy in the Victorian era. Getting your own room to yourself would be difficult. And it's Joss Whedon. So if we don't have some woman half dressed while she's punching the shit out of, a dozen guys, then is it really a Joss Whedon show?
Yeah. So the thing is, I wanted to juxtaposition this with Jupiter's Legacy, which we watched as well. Yeah. Like this show just does it right. Like it just, like they have a unique way of delivering these characters and their issues and their past traumas and their powers without it being trite or just run of the mill, Mm-hmm, and then of course, being a good writer helps out a lot, establishing a world and not having like I just don't understand what they did with Jupiter's Legacy. Like it couldn't be so like opposite. And that was a really good book that was definitely aided by Frank Quietly's artwork. What's the name of that Scottish writer that did Jupiter's Legacy and
Mark Miller.
Mark Miller. Yeah, like I mean, his writing is usually a lot better too. Like I don't know what happened with the teleplay for Jupiter's Legacy, but it's so on the nose and it's just like it's just a real work to watch it versus something like The Nevers where it just feels like so great and it's like you're already taken into the world. I always like to see like a lot of great strong female protagonists, so you can always be happy to see that with the Joss Whedon project. But the only thing that sucks is like all of this behind the scenes stuff. It kind of like messes up the party. But that being said, seeing what's happening on the screen is so good. Like one of my favorite parts is how is it Melody?
Yep.
Like how so basically at the end of this thing, they show how all these people, these touched people, got their powers and how they forgot. But you see Melody, when she gets her powers, she didn't forget. And I thought that was freaking awesome. You know?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so it's funny. This is one of those rare times where you and I are going to flip roles for this portion of the episode.
Oh, you didn't like
Because
that?
usually I'm the like, everything's amazing. And you're like, shut up. It was awful. You know it was awful. Stop being so positive. I really didn't care for that bit at the end.
Oh,
I
yeah?
felt like, all right, well, here's the thing. This show, this is the last time I'm going to say it. All issues with Joss Whedon aside, this show is well written. Whereas a different writer, say something like Jupiter's Legacy, if we're unfortunately going to beat it with that cudgel, would collapse under the weight of the amount that it's trying to do. This show struggles under the weight a little bit. I didn't feel like I needed to get that in episode 1, that I sort of wanted to revel in the mystery a little bit of, well, is it aliens or is it God? Because they're playing with all of those themes. And one thing that in an interview Joss Whedon had said about this project was, he said one of the themes of this project is going to be the meek shall inherit the earth. And there are religious overtones, especially running through that first episode. So I think by giving us space aliens, or at least I can't say for certain that it is distinctly space aliens, but what appear to be some kind of spaceship that spits out, the material that gets on people and gives them superpowers potentially. I felt like maybe I got that a little early, but I understand why you do it. But that's part of my problem, in that this show is trying to get so much done that I feel like sometimes some of the tension gets broken too early. I really do. I think it's overloaded with villains, so that it's very hard to actually get a bead on them per se. I think it does a great job of fleshing out the main characters. And I'm hoping that as I watch more episodes, because I'm now 3 episodes in, which is about halfway through the first half of the season, we are starting to get some more character development, but I'm finding that I'm getting a lot of character twists before I necessarily understand who a character is.
Okay. Well, I've only seen the pilot. I'm happy with what I've seen. I mean,
you're going to be super happy with what comes later. And again, I'm picking nits on this thing where I'm just complaining about maybe some pacing issues. The costume design is exemplary. It looks so clean and expensive, which compared to Jupiter's Legacy, which looks like a goddamn WB show, if I'm being honest, especially when you stick these two things next to each other.
Yeah.
And I would presume they have similar budgets, but this looks like lush, and the color and everything about it looks cinematic. And then you look at Jupiter's Legacy.
I don't think I have similar budget at all. I mean, you got one.
No, you don't think so?
No, man. You got a thing that's like completely period with like so many extras. I mean, this is HBO, man. Like there's serious money behind the Nevers. Like anything that's period like that, and you have to shoot like that, like over and over again. There's a couple of period pieces in. You know what? There is a couple of period pieces, but it doesn't stay period. Though.
No, right, because Jupiter's Legacy has a lot of period flashbacks. And
Yeah.
Can we talk about, again, jarring storytelling? Like, I want to spend a little bit more time with certain characters. This whole Pulp Fiction making me do the past and the present at the same time thing, I'm not in for it. Like, I feel like that episode of Rick and Morty where they're like, I feel like stories begin where they begin, not where they get interesting. Like, tell me. It chops up the action, and it makes me pay attention to two things at once where I don't even know what's going on yet. Like, if you want to do that later on, just give me one solid episode so that I can get to know and get to care about the characters a little bit. I feel like the Nevers does that much better than something like Jupiter's Legacy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, That's one of my problems with like the superhero stuff. Like, I mean, the superhero genre right now, it's very, very saturated, oversaturated.
Oh, hyper saturated.
And you know, so if you're gonna come up with something, you really got to like really come at it at a different angle. It's like everything about Jupiter's Legacy. Again, I really feel what only made the comic book great was the art. You know, because otherwise, you know, it has every archetype for every superhero we've seen before. You know, so that then take that like it honestly it should have just been animated in the style of Frank Quietly's stuff. Then I think it would have been better versus making it live action.
I mean, I don't feel like it's like oh God, what was the name of the Marvel property that flopped? Not the
The Inhumans.
yes, the Inhumans. No, I don't think it's like Inhumans bad, and I don't think it looks Inhumans bad, but I feel like it winks and nods at itself too much off the bat. Whereas because you want it to be one thing or the other, and you're right about the saturation in comic book properties and how you have to differentiate yourself. And I think a huge portion of the market has decided they're going to differentiate themselves with violence. So we're going to give you the blood. We're going to give you the real gritty superheroes. And I feel like when you're pitching this book, that's still really hot. And now that ground has been tread quite a little bit by superior products like The Boys and Invincible. And even maybe even The Nevers as well might be counted amongst those at some point when we see how it finishes. But so if you're going to come with the gritty, violent superhero stuff, then give us a reason. Now, how are you different from that?
Yeah.
And I felt like again, spoilers, we're spoiling everything today. I felt like the deaths at the end of that episode were super cheap. And I think they're supposed to be shocking, but I don't know any of those characters. You showed me like a whole superhero team. I'm like, oh damn, there's a whole team of them, and then just start killing them. The one dude who dies, we get a little bit of character development in a bar scene earlier in the episode, but otherwise,
it doesn't mean anything.
there's no real reason. Like, I don't know how much I should care. Like, did this guy take out the baddest of the bad superheroes, or did he take out the B Squad? Like, I have no idea what the stakes are.
Yep. I mean, that's part of the issue. Yeah. So I mean, it was a breath of fresh air watching Nevers. I mean, I think it was pretty well balanced as far as the villains, because I mean, like, there's different types of villains. You have like you have the authority figure who's gonna, like, who on a macro sense can become a problem for the Nevers, especially when there's this kind of chauvinist thing that's happening too, and then you have like the other group of villains who are just kind of like gathering people up, with like, you have a nice, really cool action scene.
Oh, the action's great.
That's reminiscent of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody who's more a formidable villain, and I thought that was fine for like something that was like an hour and some change
Maybe
pilot.
See, I've seen more of the show by this point than you have, and there's more baddies coming. So I think maybe that's why I have that impression already. Cause like, you're right. We've got some bad guys out of the beginning episode, but there are even more bad guys coming. And then even the good guys start to get a little bit nebulous as far as people on the team who can be trusted or not necessarily trusted. I have no knowledge of what those payoffs are, but they're definitely sowing a lot of seeds of doubt for everyone. And so for me, it's getting just a little bit cluttered, and I'm hoping that the next episode will simplify some shit. Because I'm through the first 3, and we're gonna introduce even more characters. Like, you're just getting a taste of all of the characters that they are gonna introduce, and we're getting even more of them. We're gonna get more info on more of them, and this thing's only getting bigger faster, which I think could be to its credit if it wraps up the story well. And I think that the characters that they are hinging the show on are legit, very much likable and do an excellent job, despite the fact that there isn't like a quote unquote star anywhere in this property necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really recognize anybody.
No, at first I thought Laura Donnelly was Kristen Ritter when I first saw her.
Yeah, she looks a lot like Kristen Ritter.
I was like, you're European Jessica Jones, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looks just like Kristen. Well, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So if you're listening, go catch up on the Nevers, and I'm probably gonna finish Jupiter's Legacy. I also thought that it was like a spin-off of Jupiter Ascending when I first like heard about the thing, which was like that awful movie from, what was it, 2005 or something. So I don't think Jupiter's Legacy is helped by that association, because I don't think I'm the only one to make that mistake. I'm sure I'm not the only one to make that mistake. You're like, oh God, a sequel to that awful? They made a TV show out of that? Like, all right, awful is a bad word. That movie's insane. That movie makes no qualms for what it is. I don't care for it, but I will give them credit for balls. So I'll watch both those things, and I hope anybody who's interested in that stuff will listen and follow up with us. If people want to follow up with us in the social media world, where do they find you, Arthur?
You can find me on my website, arthurromeo.live, where you can see a bunch of fun stuff. And you can go to my Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams, one for my YouTube channel, Draw Really Awesome Wow, at Draw Really Awesome Wow, and also at Arthur Romeo. Oh, no. At Dreamboat82. I need to consolidate all those so it could be a little bit more simpler. But that's basically where you can find me. Where can they find you, Mr. Olton?
I don't have quite the presence you have. You can find me on Instagram at thomas.olton, or you can find me on Facebook at just plain old Thomas Olton. And if you really want to go looking way deep, you can find me on YouTube, where I have videos of me playing the guitar from like 10 years ago. So I don't recommend you comment there. I don't read those very often, but that's where you can find me on the social media.
Oh, man, all in all, I'm really happy that I have a new show to watch right now. Yeah. All right, my friend.
All right, well, thank you so much, and thank you all for listening. Arthur, tell them that show one more time.
Tales to admonish.
I love the way you do that shit.
Oh, thank you, baby.